Good morning, everybody. Well, this morning I'm going to attempt to start this thing for the very first time. Just got my little temporary gas tank here connected to a fuel pump that came with the RV. Took it from underneath, brought it up here so I can run a clean new line directly to the carburetor. Hopefully everything's set up like it should be. Just got a battery yesterday. It's nice and strong. I do know it turns over, and so we'll give it a shot, see what goes, see what happens here. Okay, let's try it. Well, let's try some gas. Put some gas in it. Oh, pump's working. That's good. Let me check. Make sure there's a little leak there. Okay. Yeah, there's more than a little leak. Alright, let's check some things out here. There's my carburetor, and I'll be working on that today. I took a little bit of it apart last night. Try to get that rebuilt maybe today, if possible. And I'm using what other people use. Use this brake clean. I would imagine that any brake cleaner might work, but the brake cleaner is supposed to be even more aggressive in removing grime and crud and stuff like that in the carburetor, so I'm going with that, and it seems to be doing pretty good. As you can see, that's dirt that was all in the carburetor. So, and that's not all of it. I'll start on this carburetor here, get back onto it. Alright, progress. So I'm currently in the process of putting her back together now. Everything's cleaned and ready to go. Got my kit here, rebuild kit. I should have all the parts in there I need. So we're gonna get started. Well, there she is, all done. I just have to get another choke here. I'm gonna get an electric choke. My new choke arrived on Friday. Here it is. Alright, it's an electric choke. And here's the difference between the new one and the old one. This is how the new ones, this is how a normal one should work. It's like a little piston in a cylinder. It's a valve. It should move up and down like it's supposed to. And the old one, it's just frozen solid, rusted in there. So, alright, so we'll put that together. And maybe next time it'll be sitting on the engine when you see it next. So there she sits, all put together. Got it all cleaned up, got the new gaskets on, everything's put together. The electric choke's all hooked up. And I am just about ready to try and start this thing up. I was having a spark problem earlier, but this morning I I got shocked, so I know I got spark now. I first saw it, pulled that one out after this one. Sorry. Pulled this one out last night. Wasn't getting any spark out of it. And then I did some readjustments. I tested the coil, it seemed to be working. Tested with the voltmeter. I made an adjustment with the connections, so I think I got more secure connection. That may have been what was causing my lack of spark. I pulled that one out and I was holding it and turned the key and it was arcing. So I said, great, good, it's got spark. And then this one, I tested that one right after it. And then I got a nice shock between the ignition and that spark plug. So it went right through my arms, but I'm happy it's got spark now. Everything should be working normal. Saw that the choke's functioning right. I just got me a little starter gas to pour down there here in a minute. And outside here, I've got my little temporary gas tank that I've hooked up. I tried this earlier when I hadn't even rebuilt the carburetor yet. And you saw how dirty the carburetor was. And it had leaks and everything else, so I don't think it was going to even try to start. So I added the filter on there. I think that's what you need to do when you've got a pump like this. So you add this filter ahead of that. Got that connected, it's ready to go. Right up to my carburetor. I don't know if I got any leaks yet. I'll find that out. I haven't pumped any gas in that newly built carburetor yet. So we're ready to give it a fire up here. Got my battery all ready. So let's give it a shot. Just poured some gas down, and I actually poured some down on the engine too. So I had to clean all that up. All right, we'll give it a shot. It hasn't there's no gas in the carburetor yet or anything. So see what happens. Yeah, good deal. All right, let's see what goes on here. All right, let's check out the fuel. There's no muffler on it either to speak of, really. All right, let's check it. I need to see if I've got any fuel going in there. It's hard to hear anything. All right, let me just take a little break. We'll go around and see what we've got. Wow, good deal. Oh, it fell. Pump fell down a little bit. See if I can secure that better. Thing started right up. Looks like we got a little leak here. Alright, let me batten up some of that leakage. Well, I'm back at it again. This is the next day, next morning. It rained. Started raining last night. Just when I was going to try and start it again. Now, as you saw it earlier, it's started for about 2 to 3 seconds. It sounded good, but like I said, it was just the prime that it was running off of. But it wouldn't start after that. So I checked wires and stuff and figured maybe I'd just check and see if getting some new wires would help. So I went and got some new plugs and new spark plug wires yesterday evening at the auto parts store. But when I got back from the store, which was probably around 5:30 maybe, I went online and I checked again to see what the firing range was, the firing sequence for this, and somehow, if I looked at it correctly, they were way off. Most of the wires I had to reposition because they were all in the wrong place apparently, except for maybe one or two. So I put all those where I believe they need to go, and now we're at the stage where I'm going to try and start this thing again, and we hope that it works. I didn't get a new coil yet. In fact, I haven't even put the new wires or plugs in. I wanted to see if what the changes I made in these connectors, putting in the different spots where the diagram that I found online says they go. Let's see if that works first, and that will have solved my problem, given me the right answer. And then I'll put on the new wires and put in the plugs. Might even get a new coil at some point, because I think that's the same coil that this vehicle came with. Looks pretty old, so. Alright, I haven't primed it yet, so I'll go ahead and do that. Do that real quick. And see if that doesn't help start it. And I hope it keeps running. Well, I just took out the old distributor, and if I were to guess, I'd say this is the original distributor from out of the factory. It's got the blue Ford paint on it, and like we saw earlier, the mileage is like 30-something thousand miles on it. I think it's the original miles, so it's a good deal. And there's still plenty of old Ford blue paint on the block down there. So I'm gonna take this in this morning, get an exchange or get a new distributor, and see if that's not the problem. I did some research, and I think it's the pickup coil inside the distributor. I've changed out everything else, and if this isn't the problem, then right there, that little blue cylinder round thing, clip with the wire attached to it, that's the pickup coil. And we'll see if that doesn't solve this problem. Otherwise, I can only think of maybe one or two other things, but those are a long shot. So we're gonna go and get ready to go to the auto parts store and put her in and see what happens. I go when I gotta go on foot, pick up my parts. It's good exercise. It doesn't start now. I don't know what to do.
spark.
Okay, so I've been dealing with this spark issue for a while now. That everything I have on here now is now new. As far as I got new spark plug wires, spark plugs, distributor, and the coil's new, and everything. So one thing that was different was that when whoever owned this before me had changed out some original parts. See that cap, the distributor cap there is from a 1990 or 90s, even maybe late 80s, 460. And the earlier distributor caps are much different from that. I can show more. Let me go around here and show you. So I still haven't started this thing yet, but I'm hoping I just figured it out. Okay, so you've got that connection there. This is from like a 1990 460, and the earlier distributors, they had their connection looking like that. So I can show a picture of the cap, show you the difference. So I just tried to start it a little minute ago, and as you saw, the clip before this one, and so I went back to go and think about it some more, and then it came into my head that the distributor that's on here, it's brand new, but I had to mix and match with the old, so I got a middle base in there that accommodates this cap here. So what I didn't do is change out, I'll show you. I didn't change out this. This is the only thing that was different. The rotor here. Let me show you the difference between, this is the old one. Hopefully I can go back to the auto parts store and they can give me the new one. Hopefully they still have it. But here's the difference. So this is the one, the rotor that goes with that cap there. And this is the one that goes with the earlier model. Now, all these parts were together like where they should go. You can see the difference. So a while ago I was trying to start it with that one in it. Okay, so you can see the height difference, but it's also there's a length distance as well. Difference. There's no way that this spark is going to get to the spark plug wires with that kind of a difference, height and width and length. So I'm going to put this back in here. I'm hoping this is the last mystery problem to this starting issue. All I can do is try. Can't give up. It'll start one way or the other. So that's it. I'm gonna give it a try again. Make sure I got everything ready to go. Walk around here again. That's pumping. Gas is getting to the carburetor. Okay. Here goes. I'm gonna give it a shot again. I'll set you back over here. Let's see how it goes. Keys. Can't let it run too long because damage my radiator a little bit, so most of the water's gone. So let's see if it runs here. See if it's got enough gas in it. it's working. Start it up. Yes. Well, that's good news. That's good news. So what I gotta do now is check my oil pressure. You can see it. I got a pan down there catching it. I had my wrench when I was turning the main pulley down there to try to line up, get top dead center on it. I left it on there that night. Came back the next morning to try to crank it over. I was just cranking it over to get I wasn't trying to start it, but before I realized it, it had damaged that little, you see where it plugs in there for the transmission line. So I think that can be soldered. At least it's not in like the fins here in the gills or whatever. That's crucial. So, well, it was getting hot. I gotta have it 460. You want to have water running through here. So that's good. I feel a lot better now. Got a motor that runs. And that's awesome. Thank you, Lord. All right.